Good morning, everyone. Thank you. It's the first time with IO River.
Thank you for hosting me.
Yeah, I hope not the last. So we will discover what you develop, what you offer to the industry. So it's for us a pleasure. We don't come very often to Boston, and I think in June. Last time we came, I think it was in October, so the weather was different. Beautiful. Yeah, and now they prepare the World Cup.
So thank you very much for hosting me. Thank you very much for the opportunity to share the story of IO River. And if we are starting with the FIFA World Cup, so we are glad to take part, to deliver it to the Europe. We will be participating together with other partners to actually broadcast the FIFA World Cup in significant parts in Europe. So we are looking forward for this amazing event. And I will be glad to take it from here and present the team and what we are building. So today, my name is Edward. I'm co-founder, CEO of IO River. Today with me, we have Dave. Dave is our board member and the general partner in Venture Guides. We are currently, this office actually belongs to Venture Guides, and we are thank you for hosting us and be part of Venture Guides family. We have also Rob with us. Rob is leading the G2M, where there are all the sales activities, business development activities in North America. IO River was established 4 years ago by myself and Michael Hakimi. We both coming with background from edge CDN industry. We led the core platform of Akamai for years, including the development of edge compute technologies, performance of Akamai, and other critical parts of Akamai core platform. We were backed by a leading venture capitalists. We already mentioned Venture Guides, but also S Capital. This is the former Sequoia branch of Israel, a New Era. Recently, also the Pegasus group of Steve Pegluka joined as well. We have a bunch of additional people that supporting us from the entire industry. I will not dive to there. If we are looking on the internet, it has experienced multiple transitions over the past 20 to 30 years. In the end of 90s, CDN vendors distributed thousands of servers around the world to bring the content closer to the end users. While in the past, the majority of the digital content was static, today it has become much more dynamic, much more personalized. And with the revolution of generative AI, it's amazing how easy it has become to generate new content. And we are standing in front of tsunami of digital content that should be delivered around the world. However, the industry that's responsible to deliver this content is still rooted in the mindset of the 90s, including the concept that the entire traffic in the world should pass through single edge provider. This concept is slowly collapsed during the recent years. With the AI revolution, it cannot meet the challenges, the needs that this era is bring in front of the edge industry. If we will just drill down to the key areas or to the key problems of relying on single vendor, it's including the reliability, it includes performance and the user experience that you can get around the world, cost efficiency, flexibility, and other aspects. If we will just look on the availability aspect, so these edge vendors like Akamai, Cloudflare, Fastly, AWS CloudFront, Google CDN, Azure CDN, they're experiencing outages. On the global outages, we are all read about them in the news. They are causing a huge noise damage, and I'm sure that you are aware to all of them.
Gemini is experiencing an outage right now, very long, multi-hour.
Amazing. The implication, and I will touch the AI, it's a great point because if we're looking on the AI today or AI vendors, all the access to their services is via the edge. If what happened lasting a few months ago when Cloudflare went down for 4 hours or 3 hours, many of the AI services became inaccessible. So nothing happened there, but it was impossible to consume them or leverage their services. And now if you are building your systems on top of these AI layers, on top of other services which accessible via the edge, and practically everything in the world today is going via the edge, your service become very, very dependent on this set of vendors. And the implication of every outage is huge. Cloudflare outage, few hours of outage, caused to more than $10 billion damage to their customers and to the entire industry. It's practically more than what their entire revenue, lifetime revenue. Therefore, and this is the global outages. Local outages, and I'm sure that in Australia, I think you are experiencing it more, local outages happens much often. They are not in the news. They are impact on specific area in the world, but they are very often happens. It happens on the weekly, monthly basis. And we as a society cannot live anymore with that. We cannot rely on a service which will be available, mostly available except a few tens of hours a year. It's unacceptable anymore in these days. And the only way to overcome this challenge is to adopt the multi-edge, the multi-CDN. There is no any other way. These vendors, and I led core platform for Akamai, these vendors invest a lot in the resiliency. But it's simply impossible to avoid mistakes.
So what prevents, let's say, customer, client of these CDN players to subscribe to multiple of these CDN at the same time and finally create this virtual redundancy, or let's say there is always one at least available?
It's a fantastic question. And this is what exactly the giants are doing. If you're looking on the leaders in this space, they are adopting multi-edge. They are building entire engineering organizations to be able to work with these platforms. The challenge in the adoption of multi-edge, starting from the fact that their capabilities are significantly different. Their common capabilities is very, very limited. And when you adopt and using multiple edge providers, you should actually adjust and work with multiple different platforms. For that, giants like, PayPal, Amazon.com, of course, they have a CDN, but they, of course, doing multi-CDN. LinkedIn, they have a CDN with Azure CDN, they are doing multi-CDN. The largest players in the world, the giants, many of them, most of them, adopting multi-edge. They're building entire engineering organizations, tens of people to work with multiple platforms like that. But this approach is very complicated. It's required a significant amount of resources, significant efforts, defocus the company. If you are a company like Booking.com, the goal of Booking.com is not to build a reliable internet. It's to provide travel and hospitality services. They don't want to put tens of people, defocus the company to go to multi-edge. They must have a solution that will bring them to there.
Question which is indirectly related. I remember there was a player named Limelight Networks. They disappeared, or?
You are right. Limelight Network disappeared.
Okay, because I'm sure they also had some issue in the past like this one.
Yes, all of them. Again, this is the life. These global providers, and I mentioned here only the premium global providers, they are all premium. They're investing a lot in the resiliency. Any provider in the world experience outages. Okay, these are probably experience the least amount of outages compared to the others. Everyone experienced. There are no excuses. There are no exceptions. This is the world. The only way that you can minimize the amount of, really minimize the amount of outages, it's freeze the network. And part of them did it. Part of them decided to freeze the network for years just to avoid outages. But when you freeze the network, it means you cannot move forward. With the AI revolution that stands in front of all of us, it's unacceptable. You must move forward in this industry, and therefore the disruption in this industry is so required. This industry is rooted in the mindset of 90s. It's waiting to disruption, to other way how we can move forward faster, but still be resilient for the traffic, because you cannot take the traffic out.
What does it mean in terms of penalties? I remember the Cloudflare 25 hours. Wow, it impacts so many people. This one,
yeah.
Do in the contract, Cloudflare and others have some
SLAs
fees to pay in case of.
It's the penalties. It depends the specifications of the contract. With the very large companies, they have a very dedicated SLAs and warranties and things like that. The basic SLA saying that Cloudflare will give you a penalty for the time that it was down. But okay, so you had 25 hours, 6 hours, 3 hours downtime. You will get a penalty for these hours, but the damage that it's creating to you is much higher than the amount of hours. So you will not pay Cloudflare for this time, but it's, you will not be punished for the damage that this outage has caused you. There is ability to have insurance and things like that will cover it from insurance perspective, but you will not get it for Cloudflare. As online services, they want to adopt the multi-edge. The main issue was during the years is the complexity. It was very complicated to do. Therefore, giants did it, while rest of the market couldn't afford it for themselves. And this is what we are doing. We are practically, like how Rob's always telling me, we are building the easy button to allow everyone to adopt the multi-edge.
And to be sure, what is the typical size of internet giant who use multi-CDN?
It's a little bit depends the industry. There are industries like media broadcasters. They are using a much more limited amount of features of the edge. It's become easier to adopt the multi-CDN strategy, and there you can see 30% of the broadcasters adopting multi-CDN. I assume any significant broadcaster is using multi-CDN. While in other industries, if you're looking on the media publishers and then go to gaming and go to e-commerce, the leaders, the giants, eBay, of course, Inditex, Zara and all these guys, of course. Other players, Walmart, PayPal, they are going to there. When you're a little bit lower companies, they all want to go to there. They all want to adopt it. They fully understand the needs. It's just the question of can we defocus our organization to build these capabilities? And then it's become a question because it's a significant effort, significant complexity, and defocus for the organizations.
So the main issue with multi-CDN is more the complexity than the price.
Practically today, the answer is yes. The price originally was a problem because when you had a volume of traffic, you could get discounts based on this volume. With multi-CDN, you should split this volume, and then you're theoretically getting a less discount. It's not the case today. With vendors like iRiver, you will continue to enjoy from a lower prices, even if the volume is split between the vendors.
Okay.
So the price problem is become irrelevant, and the complexity. There are solutions like what we are doing at iRiver that allow you to do it. Today, we are honestly in the level that we are doing. We are probably the market leader there. We are providing the most holistic solution, the most easy solution to adopt the multi-edge. if we're looking on the legacy approach of the edge, all the giants in this industry, they did two things. The first one, which is very good, is centralized all the edge capabilities under a single umbrella. So I'm as a customer, I don't want to buy pieces of functionality. I want to be able to acquire everything, all the edge capabilities from under a single umbrella, which is well integrated piece with another piece. You don't have any, you're not building this integration by yourself, you're getting it ready in place. The customers like it. They don't want to build it by themselves. From other side, what happened in this industry is that these giant providers, building everything by themselves. This is the philosophy. I will build everything. I will provide everything. Everything will be only mine capability. If I am Akamai's customer and I need a WAF, Web Application Firewall, I can get it from Akamai. But I can get only one version of that from Akamai. Same thing with Cloudflare, same thing with Fastly. If I'm a Cloudflare customer and I want to have a bot management, no problem. I will give you a bot management. It's only mine bot management. I cannot do anything else. And in this situation, there are multiple negative side effects. From my perspective, the main one is even not the single point of failure, which is critical, and the vendor lock-in that lock in the customer, is actually the comparison on the good enough. When you are this vendor and let's say Cloudflare, now you want to add a new capabilities of image optimization. You are building image optimization, the simplest solution that you can. You are leveraging on the fact that it's easy to adopt it because of the first one. The customers that using already Cloudflare and need an image optimization, it's much easier to just do a click and get it than to go and integrate additional vendor to enter it to the environment, to integrate it right in the flows. It's much easier to get it from Cloudflare. But their solution, is it the most advanced solution in the market? No. It's the simplest, good enough solution that they can invest the minimum amount of resources to develop over time to build this umbrella and help you to achieve the minimum that you need, that will not cause you to go and adopt a third-party solution just for that. But it's not a good solution. As a result of that, your customers will not experience the best user experience in case of image optimization. They will not have a best latency. They will not see the best quality. But for majority of the customers, it's fine. But it's a good enough. We can do better than good enough. Okay? So, and the logic of we are the best in everything, I don't personally believe it. I don't think that we are the best in everything, and I don't think that there is anyone in the world that can be the best in everything. So a word about iRiver. So what we build in iRiver is the holistic multi-edge as a service platform. It's allowed the online services to optimize the reliability, security, performance, and cost efficiency. The platform itself includes 3 main layers. And I apologize if I'm going too deep into the technology. The first layer is the traffic steering. In this layer, using AI-based engine, we are allowed to optimize the performance, reliability, and cost for the customers. We are automatically switching the traffic, steering the traffic, route the traffic to achieve best performance, best reliability, best cost efficiency. When there is an issue, and we had the issues of outage, global and local, it's amazing morning for us. After the Cloudflare experience, these kind of outages, we send to all our customers. We have many customers that using these vendors, these physical physical networks. We sent to all our customers the graphs that demonstrate how in a second, even before Cloudflare or CloudFront detected the problem, we detected much before they succeeded to detect it. We routed the traffic from our customers. Nothing happened. They just got our email that informed them that there was event, their traffic was not impacted. After Cloudflare, CloudFront resolved these problems, all the traffic back according to the customer's definitions and according to the traffic steering policies that were defined by the customer.
So just to be sure to understand, so let's say I'm internet giant, so I have a subscription at let's say Akamai and Cloudfront.
Yeah.
I have some visitors somewhere on Earth, and so when I go with you, so you have a kind of algorithm that will split my content to
CloudFront and Akamai.
Okay. And you do better because why exactly? Because your algorithm is
We are doing better because from several perspectives. Availability. In case that you have a problem in one,
okay.
global wise, we will
You
automatically.
automatically switch on the other.
Also local wise. Let's say we have a problem only in Paris.
Yeah.
Only Paris will be switched from Akamai to Cloudflare to CloudFront.
Okay.
So if you're going with us, you're getting 5 nines availability everywhere.
Okay.
First. Second is the performance. When you are working with Akamai or with Cloudfront or Cloudflare, no matter who, you're dependent on their distribution of their POPs. Mm-hmm. Every network is performing better in different times, mm-hmm. in different geographical locations for different type of traffic. You have combination of everything, and we can show you, Rob, if you can just bring up from the demo live, we can show it in the live how it looks like. You will see that 2 vendors, global-wise, they're performing pretty equivalently, but in one area of the world, one vendor will perform better, while in the same time another vendor will perform better in another area. When there is a significant events which impact on the internet, like FIFA World Cup, it's changing entirely how the traffic is routing around the world. If you want to be able to preserve consistent security over time, which is 30-40% better, this is the way to do it. This is why the giants adopted it for security.
When you do it manually, so let's say you do the best configuration for Paris with, let's say, Akamai, and the best configuration in UK with Cloudflare, for instance.
Cloudflare, yes.
But over time, it will change for some reasons, right?
Yeah.
And so it changes how often, usually?
During the day. There are hours.
We're talking about a change during the day. Okay.
Yes, during the day. Okay. It's changing all the time. And for you as a customer that should replicate your implementation on Akamai and Cloudflare, it's a huge effort.
Okay, I see.
You have practically 2 different setups for 2 different platforms. Now these platforms become more and more advanced. You write a code on these platforms. Mm-hmm. You write a code in one language in one platform, another language in another environment, another platform. Now you should maintain it. You have practically 2 development and the key components that you maintain in parallel. It's a huge overhead on your operation. Your ability to do the monitoring, to detect these outages, you should build the monitoring by yourself to detect it. It's not easy to detect. No one call you and tell you, yes, there is outage in Paris today. You should develop these capabilities. You should develop automatic switching. Yeah. Most of the vendors that are doing multi-CDN, they are not doing automatic switching. Yeah. Because by hand. But then you need, think about it, you got indication, you build the monitoring, you got indication, now you should call to your manager and say, listen, there is event, do you approve me to switch the traffic? It's take a time. In our case, sub-minute.
Okay. This is a good visual, right? So this is fastening CloudFront in North America, right? Just over the course of the last couple hours, they perform differently. Mm-hmm. If we're making the best choice at every time, in every location, for a performance lens, we're going to win.
Okay, I see.
The second layer, and with the layers, it's become more and more interesting. But in the second layer, what we are doing, we are providing to the customers a unified management, unified configuration, unified monitoring. Practically, our customers experience that they're working with one platform. Underneath, leveraging multiple different edge providers. It could be Cloudflare and Akamai and Fastlink. We support more than 15 different edge providers today. All the premium global providers, part of the local providers, regional providers, and things like that. So from the user experience, all the complexity is going away. He's practically managing one platform. Our work at iRiver is to make sure that from the service that the end users are getting, it's exactly the same service, no matter whether the traffic going via Akamai or via Cloudflare or via CloudFront. This is the second layer. One of the challenges in this layer historically was the fact that that if you are, as a customer, trying to do it by yourself, you rely on the common capabilities. You will, let's say you have 100 features in Akamai, 5 features in CloudFront. You rely on these 5 features. You cannot leverage the 100 features of Akamai. So if you're in-house trying to build this solution, very fast you will reach the point that you're relying on the basic capabilities that are available on all these providers. And it's a very limited amount of these capabilities. We at iRiver taking the bar much higher. We know to complete missing functionality of vendors using intermediate languages, and many of them has intermediate languages like VCL, if you're familiar, Varnish, in the Fastly, advanced metadata in Akamai, and also edge compute. All these providers made a transition during the last 5 years from being, before with security, from being content delivery networks, which just handling the content, then they became edge security platforms, and they did transition to the edge compute platforms. And they practically opened the edge to be able to run a logic specifically on the edge. My organization in Akamai, for example, in those days, developed these capabilities for Akamai, the ability to run a code, really code, on the edge. We are virtualizing all these things. And this is what happens in the third layer. In the third layer, with the innovation of these platforms, by becoming more security, more edge compute platforms, the problem to adopt multi-edge became even bigger. Because if you are a Akamai customer and you want to split your traffic between Akamai and Cloudflare, so you relied on the same functionality, fine. But what you are doing with WAF, you can create a custom rules for WAF, or Web Application Firewall, in Akamai and custom rules in Cloudflare. But the engine itself is fundamentally different between Akamai and Cloudflare. So you couldn't create a situation that exactly the same traffic will be accepted by Akamai or will pass through Akamai as it will pass through Cloudflare. Because the engine that should block the traffic is totally different. And you don't have ability to make them work exactly in the same way. You should have exactly same security engine to do it. And therefore, the giants that implementing multi-edge strip the edge from these advanced functionalities because they cannot use them, and build another tier between the edge and the data center to do all the security stuff, edge compute stuff, and things like that. While they want to do it on the edge. This is where it should happen. What we are building, we created a virtual layer on top of the edge compute, which allows us to create consistent and optimal application services, including security services like WAF, like bot management, API security, of course, ability to write edge compute code on the edge, and it's written once, deployed and executed, adjusted to each one of the running environments. questions before? So if we're looking on that, we are not building a CDN. We are not a CDN. We don't have even one server around the world. We're achieving the best performance? Yes. We're achieving the best availability? Yes. 0 servers. There are many networks around the world. Global networks like Akamai, Cloudflare, Fastly, hyperscalers like CloudFront, like AWS, Google, Azure, many regional players in different areas. We have regional players in Europe. They are like mainstreaming. There are regional players in the Far East, like CD Networks, EdgeNext, which also can serve traffic from land of China. There are vendors in Latin America, regional vendors. These vendors cannot serve a global traffic because their distribution is mainly in specific area. They are focused and optimal for a specific area. They cannot serve the entire world. Today they are out of play when it's coming to the global players. We are turning them to the game. We are building we are creating something new, the virtual edge. It's practically a new market category, which allows us to combine all these different physical networks, global networks, but also local networks, regional networks, telecom networks, to single virtual edge. And it's become more and more important. It allows us to democratize the edge, and it's important. It's important now in Europe. In Europe, when we are looking at the regulation in Europe, it's become different than the regulation in US. The privacy there, and you are familiar with these aspects much more than me probably, but the regulations there enforce the vendors to take some actions. There is a pressure on the vendors in Europe to leverage more and more EU-based vendors. Same thing happens in the Far East. Akamai exited from China. In the past, you could deliver service. If I am Nike or I'm Zara and I want to deliver content to China, it was possible via Akamai. Today it's impossible. So the world become more and more isolated from network infrastructure perspective because each one of the regions has a different requirements. There is a different contract with their population regarding privacy, regarding security, regarding control. And as a result of that, every region wants to control his network, but still, we as a people, we want to have access to everywhere. The solution to make it is virtual edge. You want that in China, you will have a vendor that has feed the regulation of China. And if you are in China, you don't have a choice. All your traffic could be accessible by the government. This is the rules of the government. If you visit in China, this is the situation. If you are in Europe from other side, there is a totally different privacy philosophy, and the networks there should fit to these privacy philosophies and meet all the regulations like DORA regulations in finance market and other regulations which are critical for the European market. As a result of that, we'll find ourselves and we see from one side consolidation of the global vendors. We lost Limelight, right? We lost a Lumin network and few other small networks which actually went out of the market as a global vendors. So there are less amount of the global vendors like Akamai, Cloudflare, Fastly, and there are more amount of regional vendors. They're taking more and more traffic share. But in order to be able to leverage them efficiently, you must have virtual edge. Because even if I'm a local vendor and 90% of the traffic is local, what I'm doing with this 10%? I cannot build the entire infrastructure in the world to serve this 10%. What they are doing, they want to leverage virtual edge to bridge these gaps from a coverage perspective.
I'm sorry, I don't get it. So I understood the issue, the problem of the 10% you have to. But virtual edge, what is the virtual edge? How does it solve that problem? I don't get it. You will transfer some traffic to.
Virtual edge.
I don't even know. Or?
No, we will transfer. Think about you today. Let's say you are a Nike, and you should. And there is a regulation in Europe, and if you want to serve in Europe, let's say you must use CDN, a European CDN.
Yes.
If you want to serve in China, you must use Chinese CDN.
Yes.
So there are different networks. For you as Nike, you don't want to integrate yourself with many different CDNs.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very complicated and it's a lot of efforts from you as a Nike.
Mm-hmm.
So what you would like to do is to have a virtual edge. You are integrating with this virtual edge. This virtual edge, technically what it's doing is virtually split the traffic. The splitting done in the DNS level. So it's not, the traffic is not going through some centralized location. It's by the DNS splitting between the vendors. By doing that, the traffic that's coming from China will be served by Chinese, physical Chinese network. Traffic which will come from Europe will be served by the European vendor, and the rest of the world, let's say you choose to use one.
Virtual CDN.
Exactly. It's a virtual.
Because when you say virtual edge, it looks like it's on the other side, on the side of the guy who is browsing internet. But so it's virtual CDN.
Yes, it's a virtual. Again, the CDN, they made a transition to the edge because CDN was just the content. Now the CDN is security. Now CDN is compute. Now CDN become AI. All the AI is going through these networks.
Okay.
So this is but I'm getting your feedback about the edge, and we should think maybe about the name. As a concept, it coming and say, listen, let's build a virtual network on top of these content delivery networks that from one side will allow to leverage local providers which best fit to the regulation and the requirements of each one of the regions. From other side, still provide a global experience when you as a customer work with them.
For instance, I need in some region to drive my content distributed through Akamai, let's say. But I'm not a customer from Akamai, so I become a customer of Virtual Edge, and Virtual Edge will know to send my content to Akamai in that.
It's a commercial question. The question is who owned the contract with Akamai.
Yes.
And from this perspective, in IO River, we believe that the flexibility and the power should be in the customer hands. So it's a customer choice. If the customer has a relationship with Akamai and has already his own account at Akamai, he can bring this account and IO River will leverage this account. If I am a Mr. Customer and I'm using, let's say used Akamai worldwide, Akamai exited from China. Now I need some vendor in China. I don't know these vendors. IO River will bridge the gap for you. We have a relationship with more than 15 different networks around the world. We will help you to bridge it. Just choose. You will have a list. You can choose. And from contractual perspective, you could leverage our relationship with these vendors.
So I don't know who will be the CDN. So I made the contract with Virtual Edge, and you send me a list, and you say, okay, we are working with those guys. Click, select the one you want. Okay,
yes.
It's not automatic. I mean, it's.
There are two options there as well. Okay. One, you can select naming. You can come and say, I want CD networks. I don't want Ali CDN. I want I want ByteDance. I don't want that. I select the list, and the traffic will be served by what you selected. You might come and say, listen, I need something there. I don't know what is there.
Yes,
I trust on IO River, and this is why IO River released also a virtual, we call it VCDN. It's kind of a multi-CDN, the entire multi-CDN solution in a box. So we are choosing for you the best vendor in this territory based on our visibility of the traffic, based on the performance, reliability, cost efficiency, and we will give you a VCDN, which is a combination of all these vendors. We are managing the failover for them. If one vendor is going down, we'll
Yes, because if you
failover.
choose a vendor, the best vendor on Monday, but if on Friday it's no more the best vendor, so you will switch
Yes.
to
If
another.
you are with
You
VCDN,
don't have to pay for.
you don't need to pay for anything.
So it's like an overlay. Can I say that? Like an overlay? A layer
Yeah.
on top, yeah. And you route, you route traffic to.
Yes. It's an overlay layer which intelligently route the traffic, provide you unified management. So you are working with one platform. You don't have the complexity of working with multiple vendors. On top of that, you are getting application services because it's become critical in this area of security, traffic control, edge computing, which working consistently across all these vendors. You are leveraging practically the virtual edge.
I don't know if you would cover this later, but you said you don't have point of presence.
Zero.
So how do you deploy and how do we enter or submit, interact with IO River, let's say, intelligence?
So it's a pure SaaS, no servers, nothing. The way that it's interacting is with the DNS. We are leveraging the DNS. When there is a resolution, the way that it's working, if I'm a browser or a video player and I need to get some content, the first thing that's done is a DNS request, which map my domain to some IP address. When I'm doing it when I integrate it with Akamai, the result of this DNS resolution is always Akamai server, some server in the Akamai network. We are controlling this DNS. We are partnering with two premium DNS providers, AWS R53 and IBM NS1 for high availability. And there we are controlling to which network it will go. So you might be now sitting here, trying to browse to some content. The first thing will happen, this DNS resolution. The result of that will be that you will get the IP address of Akamai, while Rob will get the IP address of Cloudflare. By controlling it in this DNS layer, we can manipulate and actually virtually split and route the traffic between them. The traffic is going direct from the end user to the CDNs. We are not in the middle. We are not in the traffic at all. We just manipulate the layer that control how the traffic is split. So, and this is the entry point. Today you are doing, in technical way, it's called, you have a DNS record, you have domain, you are doing a CNAME today to CDN, to Akamai. Instead of that, you will do a CNAME to IO River, which will do a CNAME to Akamai Cloudflare Fastly in every geolocation, and it's changing asynchronically to your traffic. This is the technical underneath.
Indirection.
It's in the DNS.
We point to you, and then you point us to the
Yes,
right.
but it's done in the DNS level. The traffic is not redirected. There is no additional hop. It's not like you are asking for some object, you are getting redirect. It's not the case. It's everything fully transparent. We just control the name resolution of this domain. In this name resolution, we are adding additional CNAME layer. Today in Akamai, you have 4 CNAME layers. In order to find what is the IP address of the server, there are 4 CNAME layers in Akamai that happens. We just add additional 1 layer in the DNS to decide to which server to send the traffic. The second aspect, which is critical, is breaking the bond between the infrastructure and the application services. Because today, like we mentioned, if I'm a customer of Cloudflare and I need the WAF, I can use just the WAF of Cloudflare. I don't have any other option. When I split the traffic, I cannot use anymore the WAFs of the vendors. I cannot use the Cloudflare WAF. I cannot use the Akamai's WAF. I have a problem. What we are doing, we created a virtual layer there on top of the edge compute. We build our own security, but we also partnering with the tier A security companies. We are partnering, and we announced a partnership, I think, a few months ago with Checkpoint that brings the entire Checkpoint AppSec solution to the edge. We are leveraging all their intelligence and all their application security services of WAF, API security, including AI-based WAF. We have AI-based WAF running on all the edges, which allow us to detect vulnerabilities, zero-day vulnerabilities. We automatically learning the traffic pattern of the customer, understand which traffic is legitimate, understand where we have anomalies and where there is a malicious traffic automatically. Our customers that onboarding from a legacy vendors, the first thing that they are feeling that they are reduced the amount of rules. They need much less maintenance because the AI is doing it for them automatically on the edge. Questions, guys?
Obvious one. I mean, could you just explain exactly what you're doing around the World Cup?
Again?
Could you explain what you're doing as a company around the FIFA World Cup?
Yes.
How do you fit into the supporting the data?
So one of the large, I don't know if I can mention, in the press, the name of the broadcaster, so I want to be careful. But what there in the World Cup, there is a challenge. The challenge is in the capacity of the networks. Akamai has this huge capacity. Others has a significant capacity. These broadcasters, they need to reserve traffic. They need to, in these games will be a lot of traffic. A lot of people will consume this traffic. They need to reserve and they need to be able to support a huge peak of traffic compared to regular days. In order to do it, they using iRiver to leverage more than one vendor for broadcast of this game. By that, they're increasing the capacity that become available for them to deliver the traffic to all of us.
Because one of the dimensions is the real-time aspect of the match.
Yeah, again, there is. If you are today in Germany and you will try to consume only one network, the quality of the service is expected to be degraded. In order to be able to serve in Germany, all the people that will look the game in the quality that the broadcaster want them to see it, they need more capacity. They need more space. So with iRiver, it's enabling them use multiple vendors, get much more capacity, get high availability, real time. So if something is happening, it's disaster. If during the game something will happen for this broadcaster, it's a disaster. This is a key event, one of the largest events of this year. So
are you working with the actual broadcaster, or are you working with some of the other broadcasting suppliers like Arkits, for example?
No, we are working with the broadcaster.
With the actual broadcaster?
Yes.
So you're working with a broadcaster in one particular country?
In a specific area, yes.
In an area?
Yes.
Not a country?
Yeah, it's more than...
You can't tell us which area or country that is?
Again, I'm afraid from, your press, guys. I'm afraid from I don't know if in the agreement I can mention, but they are speaking a German language.
Because obviously, I mean, related to that, I'd like to know exactly what your SLAs are, because you slagged everybody else off about their service level agreements. What are your service level agreements?
Fantastic question. So it's 5 nines.
Good to hear.
Because we are not in the path of the traffic. We are totally not in the path of the traffic. If iRiver is down, nothing happens. Because all the traffic is continue to go from the client to the CDNs. The only thing which will happen if iRiver is down is that we will not move the traffic, we will not rebalance the traffic.
You failure upend, you won't detect it.
Yes. If Akamai failed and iRiver failed, we will not route the traffic. This is the only implication.
But if the traffic is already routed
It-
and you fail and
nothing
happens,
changing.
everything is fine.
Yes, there is, because we are not in line with the traffic. Akamai, Fastly, all these vendors, naturally they in line with the traffic. When they failing, your service is down. When iRiver is failing, nothing happens. The routing will not be changing. It's true, but all your traffic will continue to go as it went a minute ago.
I have another question which is related to the comparison with read content like Netflix, something like that. Okay, so the movie is already produced. The first guy who read the file, let's say watch the movie, say, feed the CDN or things like that. Okay, and for other, they will read from this CDN edge server point of presence.
Correct.
Now it's different because it's a live content. So you introduce, or CDN introduce some form of latency because the movie is not ready somewhere and can be, let's say, distributed in many different places. This is live content.
Think about live content. You're right, it's a live content. So there is a segment, right, which is live distributed. Now, it's become irrelevant. In 30 seconds, it will be irrelevant. But this segment, this live content, is watched by thousands, 100,000s, maybe millions of people. So you don't need, if you look on this live stream, and let's say Rob looks on this same stream, I don't need to bring this content twice to the edge. I will do it only once.
I understand, but the fact that you need to feed some edge, introduce some latency for people who will read from this edge.
The way that it's working is in the opposite. It's a pull the data. You are today it's unrelated to iRiver. You are as an end user, when you are watching a game, you are practically what happens is that the video player sending HTTP request. This HTTP request sent to the CDN. If CDN has the content, he will simply return you the content. So if
Netflix thing, for instance.
yeah. So Netflix things, but also live. If in the live, what will happen? If you're the first one, the CDN don't have the content. He will pull the content from the origin. Okay, but then Rob...
We lose some frame, it's not live, because the time that he will receive the frame.
But in the same time, let's say Rob also asks the same frame, in the same time. So he will not, his request will pending on your request. When the first time that the traffic will come from the game in the stadium to the edge of your city, all the consumer will be able to consume it live. So yes, it's a live one, but it's totally static. The cache hit ratio for this traffic is 99.999 because there are many consumers that in parallel consume same exactly content. And there is a delay. Again, always there is a delay. It's a milliseconds delay.
There is propagation and the size of the...
So it's, yes, it's in most cases few milliseconds of the it's a small frames. It's a break into chunks in these days. It's relatively small chunks, and you bring the chunks, and the video player is bring the chunks in advance to prevent buffering and prevent this kind of things.
In advance, this is a concept.
But again, but it's in a millisecond. You're practically feeling it's alive. It's the most live that it could be. It's not in the microseconds. If you are in the game and you are live in the phone with your wife, probably you see it a milliseconds before your wife at home. But it's a millisecond, and it's totally unrelated to that. We are not adding zero latency. We are adding to the entire process. Nothing.
Back to Anthony's questions. The fact that there is a FIFA World Cup starting tomorrow. Does it
Today, no?
Tomorrow, 11th of June.
Yeah.
It's tomorrow.
Okay.
Mexico
Tomorrow.
versus South Africa.
And so, is there any special new parameter for CDN to say, oh, now each match has to stay on each let's say, point of presence, because many people will replay the match for, let's say, 2 months instead of a classic movie, and finally this increase the size of each.
The way that the CDNs managing the cache is mainly, again, and I'm here, I'm not saying maybe there are CDNs doing it a little bit different, but the main concept is LRU basically. If the content is hot, they are keeping the content in the cache. Yeah. So when the content become cold, so no one asking it, over time it will be kind of, it's logically evacuated. Other content will take their place at some point.
LRU, but the queue could be larger.
Yeah, again, but this, the CDNs today, they have a large POPs. There are networks like Fastly, for example. They are very huge POPs. They are much more centralized. There is no problem to keep this data, and the data is, again, it's not so huge. It's just a game. From as a content, it's consumed by millions of people, if not more than that, in the same time. It's a huge challenge, but the size of the data is not is more than.
Yeah, sorry, please continue because we hit a lot of your times. Thank you very much.
No, you are.
One quick question. Do you
Sure.
have that you can provide, or maybe a slide coming up, I don't know, but some kind of an architectural diagram of what this whole thing looks like Akamai, Cloudflare, DNS, CNAME entries here, the virtual layer where you sit, something that shows that, because
Sure.
I'm listening, I'm paying attention, and I feel like I take one step forward and 2 steps back. Like the first part of the thing, I thought I completely understood what you guys did until I got to this screen, and I'm like, oh wait, I thought you were a global load balancer or a multi-CDN switcher, and you're saying we are not that. And I'm like, that's what I took from the first part of the conversation. And then you started talking on this one, and when I thought I knew something, this whole discussion just kind of like where you're like, oh, we sit here, and I thought you would, would sort of do redirection of traffic, and then you're like, oh, well, if we go down, nothing happens, you still work. And I'm like, in my mind, well, if you're figuring out how to redirect traffic to multi-CDNs and you go down, I guess I don't understand how nothing happens, because if I added you and you get taken away, how does nothing change? I don't get that part.
I think you're 90% there. I think from that red box up top that's messing you up, that's more of a branding thing.
Okay.
We don't want to be known as we are only a multi-CDN switcher.
Okay.
We do those things.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, because I'm like, that sounded exactly like what you did from part of the discussion.
And in the event of a failure from Io River, the same config would stay, so the traffic would go. You wouldn't be able to make those changes.
Okay.
So I think the point was, we're not on the path, nothing will go down. But we can't say at that point, hey, change my performance-based routing rules because we're down.
Okay.
The traffic still goes.
Got it.
Is that?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think you had it.
Yeah.
If you would like, we can go to the. I think we have a lunch here.
Yeah,
If you would like, we can go to the whiteboard and I will throw and we can show and we can share. We have some diagrams that we can share after that if you would like. So I'm actually at the end of that, and as a summary, so we with Io, we disrupt this market. We are bringing totally new, innovative approach, different approach than the traditional or legacy vendors. We are building the edge, the virtual edge, in partnerships with the leading companies like Checkpoint, like Google, like others. We are integrating all these edge solutions to one place. So from customer perspective, he still can get everything from one place, but we are taking the best of each one of these technologies and not trying to build everything by ourselves like the legacy giant providers.
Just a quick question. As you're introducing a new market category here and a whole new tech solution, I would imagine your biggest challenge is going to be adoption and convincing people to get on board. I believe you had $20 million funding earlier in the year,
Correct.
January time. 6 months later, how is that helping increase adoption and decoupling, etc.?
You know, the fundraising is definitely the tool for us to go and tell the story. The multi-CDN, we are lucky that the multi-CDN is not new in the market. So multi-CDN, the switching area, this layer was in the market for a while. So the concept of multi-CDN is a known concept in the market. The problem was that without these layers, it was very complicated to adopt it. By adding these layers, it's become much easier. So when we are talking with the customer, and it's challenging, to adopt the market to the new category, this is definitely a challenge. I don't know, maybe others doing it very easy and it's become simple. It's a challenging, but the customers, they understand the values because they understood it even before that. When they experience the product, they understand the simplicity. And then it's become, it's the compelling event, the timing when they can adopt. And we see the adoption growing fast. Here in the US, we see it in Europe. And we have already customers in Asia.
I think some of the tailwinds that we had is the first layer. Like when I was selling DNS 10 years ago, that's what we were evangelizing. We're evangelizing that for the business benefits of lower cost, better performance, better availability. Everyone had not then, they had not now.
I have 3 questions. I don't know if you already asked this or not. How do you price? How do you charge? Is it per line in the DNS control way? Is it by the traffic you rerouted or something like that? I don't know. How do you charge?
Well, one second.
So for the platform, there's a service-based platform fee. Think T-shirt size type thing. The second line item will be traffic. If you're buying traffic from us, you can do that. If you already have your contracts, great, keep them. And then the third is metrics around the application services, and usually, for WAF and bots, number of requests.
Okay, second question is about the go-to-market, specific key partners, geographically, with geographic presence. How do you sell this?
So I think it's divided, and we are growing. So we have a system integrators partners. For example, in Europe, we are partnering with GNL in Germany. We are partnering with Ecritel in France. For example, together with them, we have Accor Hotels, our customer. We are partner. So part of the G2M, especially in Europe, rely on local partners. We have many of them. Beside that, in US, it's a lot direct approach, and we're partnering with the the vendors. The global partners. We are partnering with the CDNs. For them, we are practically strategic partners. My partner today in a conference in Fastly in London, working with them, and they grab him to meetings with customers because with IO River it's much easier to first of all to see the value of each one of the vendors, because IO River provides a single view how each vendor is performing for your traffic, and if you better vendor, the customer can see it in his eyes. So these vendors are bringing us, so we are leveraging the relationship with them as a G2M motion. And also we are leveraging our partnerships with the security companies.
So I miss one point here.
Yes.
You said the traffic, you are independent of the traffic.
Independent.
Because you manipulate the DNS information, CNAME, etc.
Yes.
Okay. How you collect and you understand the number of bits going to this and the other, because you are not in the data path.
You're right. We are using the APIs of the vendors. This information available in the APIs and also in the logs. So we are using the APIs that these vendors provide, and therefore what we are doing was impossible to do 10 years ago. The APIs was not there. The data was not there. So today the data is available and we consume it. We consume the APIs that providing us the full picture from the vendor, and the logs, which adding additional layer of information which is not available to the customers of these vendors that are using their
business model relevant to you or relevant to this kind of service?
Definitely. We are already published one of them.
Okay.
We will announce on more very soon.
Okay. And last question is about the competition, because your idea is not unique, and many people probably already have this in mind, already provides some similar or almost same thing. How
from competition perspective, first of all, it's a tough problem. It's a really tough problem. This is the reason why the giants, they build the teams that trying to do it, but to solve it in the product as a version, it's a very tough technological problem. We're working on that almost 4 years. 4 years of engineering efforts to build such platform.
You had this idea at Akamai?
No. After I left Akamai. We established iRiver only after we left Akamai.
You came from Israel.
Yes.
Is there any other Israeli company working on a similar approach? Because there is so talented engineer there.
Today we know the market. We see startups which trying to do something similar to what we are doing. Okay. We see there are startups in Far East, for example, Melitics, which sharing with us the vision. They are also actually founded before iRiver, trying to do something similar, different technology, different technical approach, but same vision. We see startups doing it more and more. We will see companies like iRiver. I don't think that iRiver will be the only company that will do virtual edge. And therefore, this is a new category, because if it was just iRiver, it's not a category, it's just a service. Here, we see these startups growing, and it's a good thing. This is to where the industry is going. Today, at least Gartner recommend us as a solution for a multi-edge service.
So, share with us a few ideas of the future, 6, 12, 18 months.
So first of all, AI. AI become a huge thing everywhere. It's also become a huge thing in the edge. If you're thinking about the content was centralized, and then the edge, Akamai, Cloudflare, Fastly, distributed and make it accessible from everywhere. Years after that, the compute became more distributed. Part of the compute, part of the microservices of today moving to the edge, because much more content become dynamic. More and more content is not static, it's dynamic. It means you should regenerate and rebuild it every time. You want to do it much closer to the end user. So
instead of moving the data to the compute, they virtually move the compute to where the data resides.
No, they're moving the compute closer to the end users.
Okay.
So part of if your compute required heavy data, you will do it close to the data. If part of your compute don't require a lot of data, you do it much closer to the end user to give to the end user better user experience. So not everything in the compute moving to the edge. We will see data centers, they will do a lot of work. Part of the services moving to the edge, and we see it with all the large companies, Walmart and Amazon and eBay, and all these guys are already using part of the logic, part of the use cases, moving for compute, moving to the edge. The AI will be the same thing. The inference, the learning will happen in centralized location. There is no any sense to do it distributed. The inference, the meeting of the prompt with the model, part of it will happen on the edge. Not everything. The huge models, which taking a lot of time to go and find the answer, will happen in the centralized location. For use cases where latency is not important. For smaller models where the latency is important, it will move to the edge. This is the reason why Akamai announced on the inference network. This is the reason why Cloudflare is distributed GPUs. This is the reason why Fastly today announcing on on AI gateways. This is the reason why this kind of things happens, because the edge, like with the traffic, is become the entry points for the AI, and these entry points need security. These entry points need intelligently routing. These entry points must be resilient. You can, your service is down, so your service is down. With the AI, your entire organization will be down. So this aspect must be highly resilient, and this is what iRiver will provide to this world.
So this is the next chantier, I can say that.
Yes, the next thing is to support the AI. The AI is changing so many things, and the edge is a critical part of that. iRiver will be a must-have, or virtual edge is a must-have solution from resiliency perspective to bring the intelligence of the AI.
You mentioned that you raised recently, or beginning of the year, 20 million for a total of 25, something like that.
Yes, correct. We raised.
To raise a new round.
We just raised it, so I'm,
So
no. So we are. Our focus today is to grow. We have amazing technology. It's huge. We still invest a lot in the building, in the engineering, to complete and build additional capabilities, to build the AI, all the AI stuff that is required for that, and things like that. So a lot of investment go to engineering. Beside that, it's a scale. We start to scale up. We start to work with larger and larger customers, tier A customers, and the investment will go to there. You raise the money when you can, not when you should. So I'm always raise the money, but currently our focus is disrupt the market, to ensure that we have the best solution of virtual edge in the market, and spread the word and allow the industry to move forward.
What is the segmentation of your customer? You said you have a few big ones, but you mentioned a few names like Accor, etc., which we can consider smaller ones because they are complete. Typology is different.
Yeah, totally different. So I think originally we started from verticals of OTT, media publishers, gaming, and edtech. This is the 4 verticals that we started with. Slowly, we are adding additional web. These are media verticals. Slowly, we are moving also to the web verticals, like e-commerce, travel hospitality. Accor Hotels is travel hospitality. SaaS companies, things like that. Now, for looking on that for media publishers, we are serving today Minute Media, which is a UK company, including they're providing the Sport Illustrated content and things like that. We are serving Nexen, for example, in edtech space. Gaming companies like Playtika.
You have less than 50 customers, more than 100. How many?
We are around 50 customers. Around 50 customers. Yeah, we are still startup. We are growing.
Yeah, for sure.
We have a way to go.
When was the date of when you offered the first service?
A year ago.
Customer in 1 year. Yeah, okay, good. Yeah.
So, are you going to add a letter to your name with the importance of AI and call yourself AI iRiver?
AI is everywhere. Is in everything that we are doing today. We are doing with AI, and the future is in the AI. And will we change our name? Probably not.
I'm just being, yeah.
But I can suggest. I'm always open to new ideas.
Yeah. Well, it's for that sneaker company that put AI in their prospectus and they took off. So, I don't know.
Yeah, today the market is crazy, but the edge market, the infrastructure market is doing very well. It's clear, the SaaS market has its challenges, and from other side, the infrastructure side is enjoy because It under less risks compared to the SaaS market.
And are you looking forward to the planet being encircled by Elon Musk's data centers in space, or is it not going to make any difference?
No idea.
How many people do you employ?
We are today 30 people. 30 people.
Here and in Tel Aviv.
Yes, in Europe, and we are a little bit spread. Europe, here, Tel Aviv.
And is that mostly developers, I assume?
It's a 50-50 today. 50%, at least 50, a little bit more developers, and then G2M.
The fact that you moved here means that now the HQ is here.
Yes, probably. Again, if it's moving with me, then yeah. He will tell me. Do you tell me or you ask me? So here it's definitely all the G2M will be built. The key part of G2M will be built from here. The US market, North America is a huge market for us. Aside the European market, we have people in Europe, in UK, and with partners in Germany, in France, and others. So this is the two main markets that we are that we will focus. And we have a lot of potential customers. There are a lot of online services in these two areas of the world. It's
How much do you actually have to go out there and actually sell this, or do they just come to you through the website and et cetera, et cetera? Do you actually have people on the phone meeting people to sell this stuff?
So there are inbound that coming to us. Many large giants, many of them coming to us as well. They are coming to us because they are even they build it. The interesting of what we build, they want to adopt it, but it will take more time for them to adopt. But we have inbound is coming. Is it enough? Do we staying in the point that we just write checks? No, it's a tough work. Again, it's a tough work to educate, to convince, to trust. We are a small startup. For large companies to trust, to trust on startup is a challenge. And we become a critical piece in their technological stack and technological solution. So even if they are very like the idea, they are all supporting, it takes a time. It's not something that it's happening like that without any effort. It's a work, it's a challenge, but we are growing very fast. We are growing very fast. The customers like what we are doing. This is the most important. We had, almost zero attrition.
And how much
to zero churn.
How much of your technology is proprietary? How much is it open source?
Majority of that is proprietary. Today we didn't open it to kind of entirely to the community, so it's not open sourced.
It's not open source, but do you use open source module?
Yeah, of course. We are using it.
I asked that, for example, you think of a company like Min.io. A lot of their stuff was inbound. It was word of mouth. Data management. Effectively.
Mm-hmm,
So,
I understand.
and obviously they're trying to scale up, so now they're selling more. But initially, a lot of people were just coming to them.
True.
And they were dealing with obviously big data sets like you.
Yeah. So we didn't choose to go with open source as a marketing approach. Finally,
algorithm is protected by IP.
Of course, it's a deep tech technology, and therefore, competition is great. I welcome the competition. Claude cannot create IO-River. You need a good engineering organization to try and build it. I don't think that there is a risk for IO-River that giant AWS can do it. Yes, they can do it. It doesn't make sense.
So nothing patented.
Nothing.
No, you don't have patents on any of this.
Yes, there are
You
patents.
do, okay.
Yeah, we have multiple patents already registered to protect it. But in our industry, in IT world, patents are they are not it's limited way to protect IP. But there are multiple patents already registered in US, in Europe.
Do you have muscle to grow up? Do you can manage more clients or maybe license?
So we just raised $20 million. We have a lot of money in the bank to move forward. We are doing it very, we are not just spending the money, but this money was invested to grow, and our goal is now to grow and take more and more customers. This is why we raised this money. I'm sure it's not the last raise, and we'll raise more to speed up even more the growth.
Good. Let's conclude here. Thank you very much.